The secret to wealth is not hard work. It's about thinking. It's about thinking about a strategy to be able to serve more people. And how do you serve more people? The more people you serve, the more money you make. Chaos is happening because you have an addiction to peace and having things happen exactly the way you want to. Now, if you look at what chaos is, understanding it, entropy is a physics law. Physics law states that entropy moves everything towards chaos and disorder. Your entire system and body is moving towards chaos and disorder. And if you're going into chaos and disorder, that means your body, your mind, your money is going entropic. I want you to understand that. Chaos is a universal principle of life. Not like the law of attraction, as people like to say. This is a universal physics principle. So your mind, your body, your life, your money, if not organized, moves into entropic states. Entropy happens to destroy into random chaos inside of it. It moves into random chaos. It goes into disorganization, disorder, and your mind, your body, your money goes into a state where it doesn't make any sense. And what you're trying to do is left hanging on to pick up the pieces from the chaos. Anybody understand what that means? As all of us in our life are trying to figure out, navigate, and make sure we mitigate the chaos. How many people realize that when your financial life is in chaos, what happens to your brain, your mind, your body? You go into a state where you're in complete stress mode and your nervous system goes up, your nervous system becomes heightened, your adrenals go up, your cortisol levels go up, and the whole body starts going up. Panic. Does anybody in that state know that they are not rational? Of course not, right? Nobody is. You're in complete chaos in the world and you're looking at and trying to understand why. You're trying to figure out what's happening, but this chaos is necessary. Please understand what I'm saying. Your chaos is necessary so that you can learn from the chaos. However, most people don't really learn from the chaos. What they do is they end up creating more chaos. The more you structure your life with organization, you're moving to a negentropic state. Schrodinger used to talk about this when he talked about when you organize things from entropy to organization. From entropy to organization. Now, what that means is this, is that if your finances right now are in disarray, then what you have to do, the first step you've got to do is you got to get organized. I didn't say set a budget. You have to get organized. What that means is that you got to look at your income, your money, your inflow, your outflow. What are you spending your money on? What are you not spending your money on? I didn't sit and say you restrict yourself by setting a budget. Budgets don't make you wealthy. But the rest of you, nobody sits and says, I can't wait to live on a budget. Please, Dr. T, let me live on a more restricted lifestyle. That is the excitement I want today. I want to live on less money and less ability to do things than ever before. Nobody's living that way. Nobody wants to live that way. You want to have a greater lifestyle and you want to have a greater experience of your life. You want to have a greater thriving life inside of it, but that doesn't happen unless you organize your life to create more of that. And a budget is just simply a measuring stick. I want you to look at it and say, look, I think everyone should have a budget to understand where your expenses are going. But what happens when people set their budgets so tight? I've done this in the past. I'm like, I gotta set a budget, right? And you set it down to the penny, almost to the dollar, and you look at it and you squeeze it, and you're like, oh my God, there's $1. I can't, and if your expenses are $200 and you spend $207, let's say you go and you get a Starbucks. Now you feel guilty about that, don't you? Of course you do. So the reality that I suggest is not to stick on this crazy tight budget. Give yourself leeway, but what I will suggest is you look at your money and see what's coming in and what's going out. And then are you spending money? Look at where you're spending your money on. If you're not spending money on things that are valuable to you, then what you're doing is you're putting money into disarray, into disorganization. Please listen to what I'm about to say. You will spend your money in accordance to your highest values. So that means if your values are not money, you're going to spend it on bullshit. And if you don't love yourself and you don't have true self-worth, you'll buy self-depreciating, self-destroying items. What about the idea if you went and said, I'm going to go spend money, I'm going to buy things. Cool, what are you going to buy? If you spend $10,000 a month, now that sounds crazy ridiculous. Maybe it's $1,000 a month on alcohol. Is that life enhancing or life entropic, really destroying your life? It's destroying your life, right? It's negative for your life. It's taken away for that. So what's going to happen is that money is going to move towards a destruction phase. You spend money towards growth or destruction, and negentropy or entropy, based on the value that you have for yourself. If you're looking at your life and say, hey, look, I've got to build my life, but you're stuck in shame. Maybe you did something when you were a kid. I talked to a guy just the other day, and 7 years old, he burnt down his mom's house, and they didn't have insurance. They spent 2 years of his life homeless because of that. Because the parents didn't have any money, no savings, none of that. And they didn't set up their finances. Now, do you think this guy has some guilt and shame in his system, Lynette? 100%. And when you talk to the guy, you can see it very clearly. Right? You can see it clearly, just, oh my God. And his eyes are down and away. Your eyes are the window to your soul. If your eyes are steady and focused, then what's happening is you are completely steadfast. But if your eyes are moving all over the place and the eye positioning, then what's happening is you can understand what's going on with the psyche. And this guy was completely, and he came on my call very, shall I say, pompous, that he knew everything, he's done everything. I said, cool, that's good. Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah, it's great. Great. And I just said, what's the biggest thing you have shame about? He's like, I don't have any shame. I said, bullshit. Of course you have shame. I can see it right in your eyes. I can see it in your physiology. Your entire nervous system reeks of it. And he tells me the story, and then he starts crying. And he starts crying. Now, of course, the kid's hurting. The guy was not a kid. He's a man. The man's hurting, and I get it. But why did he create chaos? And why does he continue to create chaos in his life? Why do you continue to create chaos in your psychology? Why do you continue to go up and down and live in this chaotic realm? It's because of the emotional governance. If you have resentment, you're going to resist income from coming into your life. If you have guilt or shame, you're going to push it away from coming into your life. And you're going to give it. You may get it. You may say, look, I have all this money, but then you'll give it away and you have nothing to show for it. Chaos is your feedback to let you know that you're living in a delusional state. We don't like the word delusional. People are like, you can't use the word delusional. I'm not delusional. Maybe not clinically. But we all of us are at some level delusional at some level. Every one of us. So we have degrees of delusion. Do you guys understand that? We have degrees of delusion. Some of us are highly delusional about money, thinking that the future is going to have more money, deluded about the future, making sure that the money's going to be in the future. It's not true. If you don't take care of your past, the future money is a far-fetched idea. You can't create money in the future if you're still in an entropic state. What that means is that if your brain and your emotions are scattered, disassociated, all over the place, what you're going to do is you're going to find that you can't make money. It's going to be unfocused. It's going to be hard. How many people feel the more energetically stressed you are, the harder it is to make money? Put your hand up if that makes sense. And then when you are more relaxed, money shows up. Money just comes into your world. Of course it does. Because that's the essence of money. It doesn't go towards where the relationship is challenging and hard. It goes to where it's easy and smooth. If your income currently is if you're trying to go from $5,000 a month to $50,000 a month, it's great. Fine. Who am I to tell you not to do that? But do you have a plan, a strategy, a system? Or is it just an idea that you're putting out there? Is it a random idea, random thought? Hey, look, I'll just put this thing together and I'll just make lots of money randomly out of thin air. It doesn't work that way. You have to have a system. You have to have a strategy. You have to organize your thoughts, your systems to make more money. I'm keep hitting this point of organization because the opposite of chaos and entropy is organization. Whatever you organize, you get more of. The secret to wealth is not hard work. It's about thinking. It's about thinking about a strategy to be able to serve more people. And how do you serve more people? The more people you serve, the more money you make. So think about this in your life, right? If you're looking at a product, maybe you have a product, a service, an idea that you want to take to more people, but if you're not sitting there and making sure that it's getting to more people, it doesn't matter how good the idea is. Most of us are taught that you have to trade time for money. Even if you have your own business, you're trading time for money. Even if you're a consultant, you're trading time for money. Time for money doesn't equal wealth. That creates more chaos. Because what happens at the end of your time? You realize you don't have enough money.